Hey, fromily. I just got done telling Dawn and Jazz that the first few minutes of our recording got trashed, so we had to do it again. And apparently it's just starting off fresh, so this might be a little chaotic.
We've been here before, but 3 minutes ago.
Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Tyrone Keene.
I'm Jazz from Bilhoa President Shamanic.
And I'm Dawn, Country Real Estate Agent Glenn.
And for those of you who do not, actually, I'm just going to ask you if you understand the Tyrone reference. And if you just leave a comment and let me know if you understand.
Good idea. Yeah, if anybody gets it, well done.
So we are here covering season 1, episode 3 of From, which is called Choosing Day. The synopsis reads, the Matthews family must choose which of the 2 settlements they will join. Meanwhile, Jade comes to terms with his situation, and Boyd is faced with an impossible decision that strikes at the very heart of life in the town. And why don't we just jump right into it? Dawn, or we're starting with Jazz. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jazz. What are you putting in the boxes?
This week, I'm giving it to Jade. I'm sure maybe we all are. He's just so impossible. I have this on a bunch about it in my bottom 5s, but he's just so difficult, and the patience that everyone has with him is not deserved. He's lucky he didn't really get boxed.
I gotta agree with that. I hated him. It wasn't he's just a fun asshole who I enjoy watching. No, I fucking hated Jade so much in the beginning, and this episode was the reason that I hated him as much as I did. And he eventually got more tolerable, but he was pretty intolerable at this point.
Anybody who uses the phrase "Don't you know who I am?" That's not exactly what he says, but that tells you a whole lot about how much you're going to dislike this person.
Yeah, who I am?
I don't know, his way of thinking in this.
My dad owns a dealership.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, John, who are you putting in the box?
I didn't go for Jade because as bad as I was giving him grace because he had no clue what was happening and he just woken up strapped to a bed. Mine goes to Julie for disrupting her family at a time when it's in its worst, well, not worst, let's not say worst because of what they've gone through, but they are a horrendous time for them. She's like, nah, I'm done. And
it's
obviously
a weird call. Weird call to make.
Especially at the choosing ceremony, so it's a very public decision to make, and you're like, could you have just maybe mentioned to your parents that no, I don't want to live with you anymore? I said last episode she's 15. Am I right? Is she 15 or is she older than that? Is she 16 or?
I think she's 16.
Because he talks about missing driving driver's ed, so I'm assuming I was under aging her there, 16. I know that's an age when you're completely all consumed by everything is about me. But it's very much so in this, her decision to do this is all about what makes her comfortable. And I just was like, oh, I know your parents are rubbish, but still.
I have something, when we get to the end, to the spoilers part, I have something I want to talk about with Julie here, but we'll get into that at the end of the episode.
All right, so we got Jade and Julie in the box. Eaten. Jazz, who are you giving your pancakes to this week?
My pancakes are going to Boyd. I waited long enough. I know he's getting lots of pancakes this series, but just watching him wrestle with what to do with Frank for the entire episode, getting in the box himself, he really did not want to do it, and he really tried to let him out of it, and it just goes to show what a good person Boyd is, because he knew letting Frank go, especially with the type of person that Frank has been shown to be, like that would have really ticked the town off and drawn his leadership into question a lot earlier. And he's really lucky that Frank made the right decision, but Just the amount of thought that he put into it just really drives home what kind of person he is.
Yeah, agreed. I am gonna give my pancakes are being shared this week between Fatima and Ellis, just because they were just so kind. Well, Ellis is more episode 4, but Fatima is just really kind to Julie, and I just appreciate that.
The fact that she's looking out for her from the start when it seems like nobody else is, it shows the kind of person Fatima is. Totally.
Dawn?
My pancakes are going to Kenny because what grace that chap had in dealing with Jade, being the one to deal with Jade, especially when all that has happened, what's happened to his father, and then Jade sitting down in that diner and talking to him about what, for Kenny not to snap at that point and instead to take it upon himself to make sure that Jade is cared for and understands what's happening. Just Kenny has an absolute heart of gold and nerves of steel to deal with that a day after his father's died. So
he was a close second for me.
Yeah, me too.
He's Kenny.
Yep. All right, let's go to our bottom 5. Jazz, what is your number 5?
Why does everyone open their curtains? I have complained about this so many times. Why does so you get up every morning and you open every single window and tie up all your curtains, and then you have to go around every night and untie and draw all your curtains to keep them up? Who would do that? Inefficient. It does never stop bothering me. I get that it's for lighting, but inefficient.
Agreed. My number 5 is the couple going at it on the couch.
That's my number 5 as well.
Like, I get it. There's really
welcome to Colony House.
You can't go outside at night, and there's people in every room. But can't you maybe designate the bathroom as the getting busy spot? Or
there must be a closet. There must be a corner. Also, do you have to be completely naked to do it?
You're sleeping.
Yes. Right next to you. If you're just
rude.
It's my number 5 as well, because I was like, I literally wrote, what the fuck? Because yes. I don't know if you know this. It's a fact I only learned today. The very first episode of Stargate SG-1 has full frontal nudity in it.
Oh, wow.
And you think of it as quite a sort of family-friendly show. It's an adventure show, but it's family-friendly. Apparently, when they made the pilot, whatever channel it was, I think it might be like Showtime or something like that, we must have nudity. And it's so weird because obviously From is a very adult show, lots and lots of violence, but I don't think of it as having nudity and sex. And I was like,
sex scene I can think of. Go.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of other things I'm going to mention in my list later, but it feels like they eased away from certain things that are placed in the early episodes, and sort of once it's comfortable with itself, they don't need that.
I get why they did it. It's just kind of to illustrate it's an anything goes type of atmosphere.
It's just so funny because the person is just like, oh, there's somebody on a sofa. Oh, hello. Oh, there's the Matthews family sleeping.
Julie's like right there.
I could not live in Colony House with all those people. There's no way.
No.
I'm picking the town.
Ethan was getting a real education that night.
Sure. Jazz. Oh, wait.
So we're number 4.
Sorry.
My number 4 is they couldn't have cleaned the Megan blood off the walls before they did the home tour. Was that just for effect? Or are they leaving that for the Matthews to do?
That's exactly my question.
So that's actually my number 4 too.
And mine.
And that was a lot.
Here's what I'm thinking.
The bones, but
here's what I'm thinking. You would think the obvious answer would be, we're putting you in this house, but we need to clean it, so you're going to stay in Colony House for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only thing they did was get their bodies out of there. And I think I think they deliberately left it messy to help
Draw
them
the
adjust.
point home.
This
Right.
is what happens if you don't do, your children will literally die if you don't do what we're telling you. But still, by the way, here's the child's room, because it was the child's room as well, and they've got a little boy. It was extreme in its nature.
Exactly. I feel like just leaving it the way it was lived in was enough.
Yes.
For them to be like, these people are gone, and they're gonna watch Frank get it later. So did we need the walls painted in child blood to drive the point home to the new family? That's a lot. I guess it's just reality, but
it's not a spoiler to say that through much of episode 4, I was thinking about it. Every time we saw the house, I was like, is the bedroom still like that?
Right?
Have they gone and cleaned it? Has Tabitha, when she's like,
they
oh,
don't
let's
sleep
that.
in that bedroom.
So, what, did they just leave it and close the door?
I hope
so. For sure. Did you say that was your number 4 too? So Jazz, we're back to you then.
Looped around. This is what I wrote. Sorry. Sarah wasn't wearing white today. I don't know how she fixed her little ass to walk up into Tian Chen's kitchen and didn't just murder that lady's husband. I hadn't had coffee yet. I was real irritated with Sarah. She's right. It would have looked weird if she hadn't shown up. But she was wearing a little white dress that day. I guess she was feeling a little guilty.
I did find it really interesting that she walked in when Tian Chen was picking up the broken glass after she had that
broken glass story. That's again, I like the things I was talking about in episode 2. That's the kind of writing, those little moments that are just so sharp, so sharply done, so on point. You don't need that to tell the story in any way, but it adds just something else, which is amazing.
So my number 4 is Jim seems to be really super on board with capital punishment. Jim Cabot says, "Oh, this is horrible. How are you dealing with all this?" It's like, well, the guy, like, wow, Jim's really. I feel like Jim would be mega.
I was just going to say, I bet we know who Jim voted for.
He seems an all lives matter type of guy.
For sure.
Daily.
No, we always love him. Just Jim.
Dawn, what's your number 4?
Is it number 3? Because we're all the same on 4. That's okay. Mine is of all the people that Jade sits down and speaks with, it has to be Kenny. It's just so painful to watch that scene in the diner. I know it's the plot, but you just think, oh, there's so many people he could have had a conversation with, but it has to be Kenny. It has to be him, and he's most flippant and most careless about everything he's saying, and Kenny is just sitting there and taking it. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to bite your fist with. Oh, how awful it is. But it truly shows Jade is completely oblivious, because you think anybody else would pick up on something coming from Kenny, that I shouldn't be saying this or something's wrong. But no, Jade completely oblivious to it, which
I have to believe he's the only person who ever thought, this is all for me. It's all a big practical joke based on me.
There's ego, and then there's Jade.
This is kind of nitpicky, but what is the point of the choosing ceremony, and why do we never see it again?
That's exactly mine.
It seems very over the top and ceremonial for no reason, and then we never see it again. Everyone just gets shuffled wherever. They have a whole bus show up. Oh, sorry. That's a spoiler, but more people show up, and we never see that again, ever. It was really weird that they did it.
I wrote down why. That's what I wrote down, because I was like, what is the purpose of this? And why is it such a strict rule? Once you made your decision, you can't go back. Why can't you go back?
Whoever decided this is Shirley Jackson rules. You
can't
very strange.
It's like when you're in the summer vacation. This is for us old folk, and you went out to play, and your mother goes, You're either in or you're out. You can't keep going in and out of the house. They're going to clear you staying. That's what it feels like. You're like, no, pick one and stay. But there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason. And that's what I mean about this the sex scene. And I feel like they had these sort of ideas that Colony House was this hippie love fest and the town was very different and there was, not at a war with each other, but there was a clear line between the two. And I think they just can't, let's just drop that side of it. It doesn't.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying the story doesn't need it. There's enough in the story without adding that division of people.
It seemed like at first the houses are for families and colony houses for single people. But
makes sense.
There's way more people at Colony House.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you still got your number 2, Kelly, but we've done it.
Yeah. So my number 2 is actually the same thing. It just I don't get it. It bothers me that it never comes up again. Is one of those shows that they almost never, if ever, have plot holes or we see things that we don't see again. And so it really bothers me that it's not, we don't get an explanation for it. I'm sure it happened because people were just picking randomly where to live. And then some people were just clashing with others. And so I figure they probably, Donna was there the longest. And so she probably moved into the house. And Donna is all about that sex and drugs. And so she
live for today. That's a classy way to put it.
Yeah. So that probably has something to do with it. It's where he's not as much for rules. And so when people started clashing with others, they probably figured we got to separate the two. And you're either going to be in the town.
This has only been happening since Boyd got there, because before that, they even say it in that's the next episode, but it just comes off as a very old, strange. Why is it so dramatic? Why is it such a everyone in town gathers to see where you decide to live? It's a little strange. And then it just never comes back.
We're back to Jazz for number.
Oh, we are. You just won.
We all had the same number 2. Every person who asks, "Don't you know who I am?" deserves to be beaten with Tien Chen's whisk. That is the most obnoxious sentence in the English language, and it sucks that that's the way we meet sober Jade. That's all I have to say about it. What a thing to say, especially to open just as an introduction to your character as a real person and not high on drugs.
I wonder if he was thinking of being kidnapped or something, and that if he was like, I have all the money in the world to pay to free me, kind of thing, and it would connect to that. So there's a little sense of you would have a reason to say that somebody you think is holding you against your will. At least better than being awful at a diner to them or something, or coat check girl. Don't you know who I am? At least his money there might be relevant, but it's an awful sentence. I was trying to think of a funny title to think of the phrase egg beater, beaten with the egg beater, but I couldn't. But I'm glad she beat him with a beater of some kind.
So my number 1 is Jade fucking interrupting the whole after Frank gave a speech, and oh my god, this is so obnoxious. You're really gonna do this? He thinks they're all acting, but it was everybody else was pretty serious about it. And he's gonna be an obnoxious asshole. Oh my god. Stop, Jade. I really did not like him yet at this point.
He definitely does not have reading the room on his resume.
John, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is the moment that the creatures get Frank, because it is exactly what Christie's dream was, the visual of it breaking through the wood in her dream about the RV. And I love that she is probably seen this, so her vision was exactly of something that happens, and that we see it happen as well. That it proves her nightmare was real, in the sense of that's exactly what happened. And poor, I know Frank did wrong, but he could have been a worse person. And that moment where he's just sobbing because you waiting for it to happen is far worse than it happening. Is just that moment, you're going to die, it's coming. Oh, it just
seeing him just think about fighting for a second and then giving up and getting in the fetal position is so sad.
Yeah,
and he could have run. He really, I expected him to run the first time I watched it because he was gonna be the shit. But thank goodness he didn't run, because it would have really ruined things much earlier.
Before we go into our top fives, this might be a good break now to do our fromily debate team. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah,
all right.
Why not?
Let's. If you're just joining us for the first time, every episode we have a segment called fromily debate team, where we pick a conflict of some kind in the show, and before we start recording, we do a random wheel name picker and decide who is going to defend who. So the conflict today is regarding Julie and whether Tabitha was right to insist that she stay with them, or if Julie should, because she's underage, or should Julie have had the right to go on her own and live in Colony House. And the judge today is, wait, which one of you is the judge?
Me.
Yes. Yeah. And I will be representing Tabby, and Dawn will be representing Julie. Yeah. Which one of these do we think is the harder argument?
So
I'll go first then. Just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
So Tabby is, first of all, Tabitha has never done anything wrong in her life, and she never will do anything wrong in her life. So that's one thing. So she's automatically right by default. But she lost a son. She lost an infant son, which I think most people have picked up by now. Well, actually, Julie mentions it too. But she doesn't. So she's really worried about her kids, and she doesn't want to be separated from them. And she probably is also not wanting to split the kids up too. And I think having Julie go off was a burden and slap in the face. And I think that because she's underage, the town should have said, no, you have to do what your parents decide on. And that's about all I have to say on it.
Oh, 3 seconds left.
All right, so we're going for Julie.
So Julie is, if we assume she's 16, yes, that's underage in the USA, but it is not underage across the world. And Julie now does not know where she is. It's a different culture, obviously. She has been made to feel accepted and understood by Fatima, especially, and she's not feeling that from her parents at the moment. Her parents are completely absorbed in their own grief, their own unhappiness with each other. They're not paying her the attention that she needs. So why wouldn't she break free and go, you know what? In this new place, there's someone here who is looking out for me and only me. And I'm going to go with that and leave you. You still have Ethan. You can focus more on him. You can give him all the attention, because I need to be myself and be with people who totally get me, because you're not even making the effort to get me. And she's 16, which is this time. She could have a baby.
All right, Jazz, who's the winner of this one?
We've never had a tie. I don't... I guess the real flaw is with the system.
Yeah.
Why can't Tabitha change her pick? Why can't she? Why does she have? Why is it set in stone? Why are they letting the kids pick at all? Doing a
good point.
Tabitha wanted to get away from Jim anyway.
Right? I don't really blame Julie. I think Dawn made a really good argument, and I was not on Julie's side going in. But I kind of agree with both of you. I feel like the issue isn't what either of them are doing. I award half points, giving you guys each a point, because
that's fair.
I feel like it's a draw for me. I think you both argued really well. I'm a bad judge, but
thank you. I just thought something that's against my side of it, but I just thought of it. What would they have done if Ethan had said he wanted to stay at Colony
Exactly.
House?
That's what I'm saying. What if you have a 2-year-old who's just like, Flower? Is that what's going to happen?
Deeply flawed system. Nolan.
I'm just imagining that. They've got, like, Thomas is alive, and Thomas just points at the flower and goes, Flower! All right, Thomas. Thomas Jones.
And I'm just like Fatima is your new mother.
For agency and knowing where you want to choose, where you want, like, plenty of kids who choose to live away from their parents.
Oh, exactly.
If I was Julie at that age, I would have fucking chosen Colony House, but not as an adult.
A 14-year-old boy is Ethan's 14, and he's like, if there's naked people having sex beside me, ka-ching, I'm going to Colony House.
We have internet porn, so I'm making the choices I gotta make. Really, that's a bad system.
It is.
I get why they don't come back to it, because it's got flaws.
I really love that we had so many of the same choices in our bottom thing, because I sometimes think, am I really understanding this show? But I feel comforted now that we were picking the same thing, so that's good.
It's really hard to pick.
We see people move between town and Colony House throughout the series. Multiple people. So we have to get into spoilers, but this is not a hard stuck rule, so I don't know why they treat it like it is in this scene.
Although, I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed that Jade chose the town, because I would have loved to see Colony House dealing with him and his obnoxious self and having to step over people. And
he's gone from a 25-room mansion, and then he's like, I have to share a bed.
Colony House only has 2 bathrooms.
Yes. Oh, man. All right. Let's jump into our tops here. Jazz, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is what a soothing presence Fatima is in these early episodes. She's Julie's Thundershirt. She's doing a great job. I like how she can just see her sitting there having a freak out, and she knows why she's freaking out, how to help her. She's just like, she's obviously a very good person, and she's very skilled with people, and it always makes me feel better that she's there watching over Julie.
Do we know what she did before she came to Fromville? I can't remember. You would just no, because I just wondered, you could have seen her in a caring profession, but I don't know.
My number 5 was I really liked. I loved what Christy said about, she's already lost enough. She's not going to let creatures take the clinic away from her, and she's staying there. She feels safe. She doesn't understand how they got in, but she's committed, and she's not going to let them break her stride. An 80s song. That's my number 5. Dawn, what about you?
Mine is the first interactions between Victor and Ethan, that we see Ethan laugh and we see him be a child. I don't want to get into spoilery, but obviously the more time any character is in Fromville, the more they lose their joy. And it's so nice to remember that Ethan is this happy little boy before it all, a lot of times when you have little kids in horror films, they're always a bit creepy, a bit Damien, a bit whatever. But Ethan was truly a happy little boy who had, admittedly, there was a horrific part of their family history with losing his brother, but he was still so young. He hadn't lost what his childlike innocence, his childlike naivety, and it's so nice to be reminded that exists.
And absolutely.
Before things go downhill.
All right, Jazz, what's your number 4?
Oh, this is going to sound crazy coming out of my mouth, but points to Jim for accepting the situation as it is. He is the first one in the family to be like, we're stuck in Monster Town, we got to deal with it. So I get that it's difficult to accept, but Tabitha got more of a first-hand view of the monsters than Jim even did, and is still having a harder time processing their situation than he is, which I find strange, but I try to say nice things about Jim when I can. So I give him points for being like, you gotta adapt. We're gonna adapt. We're all gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because he had time through the night when they were in the RV to just sit there and be aware of what was happening and take it all in and ruminate on it. Whereas what was going on with Tabitha was all screaming and running and being tied up and all this. She maybe hasn't had the time to digest it, whereas Jim did while he was caring for Ethan. So I thought about that too. I thought it's good that he's a simple man and he's like, this is how it is. Let's carry on.
So my number 4 is, and I apologize, I forgot to look up who it was that was covering If It Be Your Will. It's a Leonard Cohen song, but I forgot to look up who was covering it. And I thought it was so well used because he wrote that song right before he was supposed to have throat surgery. And the doctor told him he may never be able to sing or even talk again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
So he was basically preparing to just give up on his career entirely. Fortunately, he didn't have to. But if he wrote that, just accepting whatever comes. And so it was I thought it was a really appropriate song.
Is Boyd swearing in church? I love that whole bit where he's like, you're the worst fucking priest. And then he's like, now you've got me cursing in church. And then he swears again. I just thought that was so funny. Boyd so rarely gets to do the comedy bit. He mostly goes to Jade. And I just thought it was a nice little touch, a nice human moment. That he's like, oh, damn it. He's just lost. It's not about him losing his temper. It's, that feeling. And I feel like we got to really know Boyd a little bit more with that scene.
It seems so real and off the cuff. I almost wonder if it was improvised because
yes, it does feel that way.
So funny. It's probably written, but he's just a brilliant actor. But
it was beautiful. I loved it. Like Boyd, nobody drops an F-bomb like Boyd. I've never seen anybody drop an F-bomb like that so well as Boyd. It's just every time that word comes out of his mouth, it's hilarious.
I nearly said at the end of what I was saying there, that I nearly said, and swearing is hot.
It's a sign of intelligence. My number 3 are the scares in this episode are legitimately terrifying. The scene with Jade and the boulder, and the ending scene with Frank and the monsters are both just legitimately well done nightmare moments. I think I've thought about that scene with Frank at the ending about 1 million times after the first time I watched that show. It's terrifying. There's nowhere for him to go. There's nowhere for him to hide. The monsters come through the walls. Incredibly effective. Just the way it cuts to black. You don't have to see any of the gore to know how horrifying the scene is, and then we do get to see it later on in the next episode, but
for sure,
really effective.
So I also have the same number 3, but it's kind of a 2-parter. It was so effective. The horror and tension was so effective in that scene. I thought it was so well done. And the other thing I loved about it is Boyd made himself watch. He didn't want to put him in the box. Frank chose. Frank was basically in the box because Frank wanted to be in the box. But Boyd still felt responsibility for it. And I feel like that was him kind of punishing himself. I'm going to force... he was taking responsibility for Frank's death, even though it wasn't his responsibility. But he felt like it was, and he was like, if I'm going to sentence a man to death, then I need to actually watch it happen. I can't remove myself from it. So I thought that was a really cool thing that they had him do.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could tell he did not want to watch it. I mean, he kept looking away. He really forced himself. All right, Dawn, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Father Cattree's fault line speech. I thought that was so clever, the way he explains that. I think it's something that we see in anything that's dealing with war or that kind of thing. how do you carry on living? How do you play a game, have a joke, worry about the fact you've got a headache, or deal with anything? And that he compares it to living on a fault line, that there are people who aren't in this situation like that temporarily.
I literally live 5 minutes from Northridge, so.
And it's for me, because I live in such a safe place and I live up a hill, so I'm never going to flood. I have such a privileged place to live because I'm never worrying about anything like that. And I really appreciate how that speech tells you there are people who aren't in a situation like this temporarily. People live in these situations all for years and years and years, and you just have to accept that something might happen at any moment in any day, and that's the only way you stay sane, and you deal with that when you have to deal with it. And until then, you just live your life as if it was never going to happen. And it's similar to a speech that comes in the next, I won't say spoilers, but that you have to just find a way to live with stuff, and you have to make sure that you prioritize a way to compartmentalize your life or your mind so that you don't just go, you're just non-verbal and completely gone because you cannot stop thinking about the worst scenario, which is very real. But World War III might happen any day now. We're living it now. And here we are talking about a horror show. Just you've got to do it. This is how you do it. Sing some good Cockney songs while Hitler's dropping bombs on you. That's exactly it. We've just got to carry on.
Agreed. All right, Jazz. What is yours?
My number 2 is Kenny having the patience of a saint dealing with Jade, even though he just lost his dad. I don't know why no one was assigned to handle Jade. I know he gets up, runs off, steals Clara's bike, and is just a menace for 24 hours. 12 hours. Let's give him that. It's just the fact that Kenny, A, has the patience to deal with him at all, because I would not be effective deputy the day my father had just passed. But that he's the one who gets him to wake up to reality and then brings him home. Just like he didn't have to do any of that. And I don't know. I always want to give Kenny credit when I can. He's a great character.
Yeah.
He is. The Chins are some of the best people in town, and they have to deal with way too much.
My number 2 is I want to give an explanation to our followers here, if they are following along with us and haven't seen ahead. We get the first mention in this episode of the Chromanocle. That book is going to be, as we know, that book is going to be very important for the series. And I just loved, and this is the first time I realized it on my rewatch, that Tabitha said it's her favorite book.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
She said she got all excited when Jim brought it out, and she's like, "It's my favorite." So I really liked that. I love all of the little puzzle pieces in this series, and the Chromanocle is a big one. I wish that they would actually release a book in full of the Chromanocle, but then I feel like it might give stuff away. I don't know. It'd be really cool if they did.
I would be in Severance when they released the files. It'd be nice to give us some extra clues. My number 2 is related to what Jazz is, but it's Kenny showing Jade the grave. I just thought it was such a brilliant way with somebody who's so far out there from realizing what's happening. Someone who's so disconnected. The only thing that's going to work is a short, sharp shot. And it was brilliant that Kenny, of everybody, was like, I'm going to deal with this. He wasn't Boyd. I'm too busy dealing with Frank. He's being a real deputy and going, right, I'll take on this problem, even in the depth of my grief here, and make sure that Jade knows what's happening so he's safe, because he's not going to be safe while he's running around thinking
Yeah,
this
exactly.
this is an escape room for his own safety and for everybody else's. And the quickest way, because obviously it's the day is going on, he has to get him to understand this before nightfall. And the quickest way is to show him Toby. And I love as well the way Jade goes, oh gosh, I just thought it's such a, you expect somebody when it hits them to be screaming or wailing, but I love that he went, gosh, which is such a sort of innocent word to use. But that's the way it sort of strips you down to your just child. Oh no, something bad is happening. And I love Kenny for it. And I love the fact they showed us Toby's face. Other shows would just imply it, but no, we got to see Toby as well. So that whole scene I thought was
And
fantastic.
that actor got a paycheck.
For sure.
It's a good thing to do.
All right, Chaz, what's your number one?
My number one is Boyd's episode-long struggle with his decision about what to do with Frank. I know I already talked about this because he's my MVP, but it's incredible to watch. It's just such a study on acting as Harold turned out, period. He's incredible. And also just the sentence, "You're a terrible fucking priest," is one of my favorite in the series. He's just excellent. I love Boyd.
It tells us so much that he struggles with what to do with Frank and isn't just like, get rid of him. When there's so much death around them, you think it would make it easier to be like, what's one more dead person? But
they also introduce his Parkinson's in this episode, and that's just another. He doesn't even talk about it. It's just there's that tiny hint of it in the beginning of the episode, and he's got so much going on. Yeah. Give my man a break.
So my number one is the way that certain people, certain characters in the show handle stress and aggravation. Speaking specifically of Boyd and Tian Chen for his fuck mumbling, which was just the greatest thing. Jazz, I know you just talked about it. The greatest thing ever is fuck. Now I'm swearing in the house of the Lord. And it was just under his breath enough so you could hear it, but it was just so brilliant. That delivery was so great. And just mumbling to himself. And Chen hitting Jade with the whisk is one of the funniest things I've ever seen on this.
She is a marvel at compartmentalization.
I'm grieving my husband, but that doesn't mean you get to skip the line.
Exactly. By the way, guys, if you're not aware, we do have an interview with Elizabeth Moy on our channel, who played Tian Chen. Hoping to maybe see her as a ghost again, but check that out if you haven't already. Dawn, what is your number one?
My number one is, oddly enough, is Frank's speech at the choosing ceremony when he talks about how he wasn't always like this. He was a good dad. When he speaks about buying Megan her first dollhouse and how her face lit up, I just adored that because it's so easy to have a character like that who's only in a couple of episodes and just write him out and that's that. But they gave him this speech to let us know he was a person, to remind us that these are human beings, and that's why Boyd has such a hard time making a decision, because he is a man who Boyd, I'm sure, knows was a good father, was a good husband, and it's just this town has taken it out of him. And I love that they gave this to the actor. Well done. He gets to have this really emotional speech. And I like that he's not just saying it for his own benefit to say, I was a good person. He's sort of warning everybody. This could happen to you. If you let the town get to you, this could happen to you. So you've got to hold on and have hope. And I love that a character in his situation still wants everybody else to have hope and hold on. And the last thing he says to Boyd, you will get everybody out of this town, won't you? And Boyd promise. I just love that it showed that he was a good person who just broke, and that he's not a bad person, and that's why it lays even heavier on Boyd's heart that this happened. Not even so much that it was Boyd's choice, but this happened to someone, and how easy it is for any of them there to let themselves go down this path. Just love.
I think it also says a lot of the actor who played Frank was great. I love when a very minor character is played by a really talented actor.
Mm-hmm.
But it really says a lot about Boyd, because part of the reason that I think he hauled off on Frank so much in the first episode is because, no spoilers, but as we know, later on we find out that Boyd, he was saying a man protects his family. Boyd protected his son in the most traumatic way possible.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't, the fact that he saw this man's negligence cause his family's death and he still had sympathy for him says a lot.
It's just that this show gives everyone so much depth in terms of being, everybody is good at heart. Everybody has so much empathy for somebody else, and you may not see it most of the time, but it's there, and this show just brings that out so well.
Agreed. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add before we get out of here?
I had one little spoiler thing that I wanted to.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you did.
Bring up. So if you are listening for the first time and you don't want to be spoiled, tune out now.
Tune out now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So with Julie choosing Colony House, one of the reasons I think that she did that, and they've never come back to it, period, but Julie's a little gay. She has a crush on Fatima, and I think that was a big part of her decision to choose Colony House, is her trying to explore some of those feelings, because she asks Fatima to kiss her even in the future episodes, and they never come back to it. They never talk about it again. I don't know if they just decided to drop that storyline because Julie's 16 and that's fucking weird, or because her crush is totally natural. It absolutely makes sense. Fatima's gorgeous, but we never come back to that. They never explore that again, and I feel like it's an important part of her character, and it could come back to it. We're heading into season 4 now. We haven't referenced it since season 1, episode 8. So,
do you think they maybe have dropped it because there's more opportunities for her to have a male love interest in terms of the characters that are there, and they've maybe thought,
I'm not sure.
I hope they introduce somebody who could be a potential love interest for her.
Well, it seems like she and Elgin were getting a little flirty.
I want the closest to her age, isn't he? So
he's the person I'd be most comfortable with her dating.
Not Randall.
That's not cool.
It makes sense that someone of Julie's age, if she's actually bi, which there's a lot of bi representation in the show, which I love. But if she is bi and she has a crush on both Fatima and Elgin, even, it makes sense that she's finding ways to figure out who she is, because her sexuality is probably confusing her. And
Steve and I were watching the episode this morning, and he was like, they're deliberately going for a polyamorous three-way thing.
Yes, they definitely were, yes.
And I was like, I don't think they are, because Julie's 16.
Yeah.
I think it's just that vibe, because Julie's kind of attracted to Fatima, and they're being super friendly and open with her, and they're just kind of naturally, and she's like into this. We'll be in this harem. You guys are hot. I don't think that projection is coming from Fatima and Ellis, because she would see her as a child.
No, definitely. Yeah, agree. I meant the show felt that way, but yes, not them, not the characters. Agree.
They did feel that way. They said that last week. They had that couple across the bar that catches your eye vibe.
Yeah, sure. All right. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add before we skip out of here?
That was it.
All right. Well, that is it for episode 3, Choosing Day. Make sure you turn on your notifications and you're subscribed so you don't miss. We're going to be uploading a lot leading up to the season 4 premiere. We have 30 From episodes to get through. So you can look for 2 or 3 of these a week. And we will see you extremely soon. Bye, guys.